Jordan gonna be the next person that needs saving, y'all. I said, okay, on today's episode, she told Isaiah that she's still, she's still trying to investigate Sewell and everything, so they still gotta hide out because he wanted to know how much longer do they have to keep it a secret that they involved. I said, how you bring Sewell to the very place that y'all hiding out at? I said, make it make sense. She gonna get caught either way go though. But hey y'all, welcome back to another review like Chester for General Hospital, April 9th, 2025. Okay, y'all. So first things first, let me know y'all thoughts on today's episode down below. So we're gonna start with Dante, Lois, Brooklyn. So I think wasn't Dante and Lois in the room first, and that's when Brooklyn showed up. So Brooklyn was about to tell Dante something, and here go Lois interrupted. I said, dog. I was like, why wasn't nobody? At what point is somebody gonna be eavesdropping and find out the secret? Because apparently nobody else gonna say anything. And then Lois, she already over here. I said, okay, once again, if your daughter was just mad at you about lying because you told your mama and you ain't tell her that you told your mama, it's the fact that you told your mama and then you kept it a secret that you told your mama. So y'all make up and you still don't tell the truth. They must be waiting on the perfect, I almost said the perfect time. They must be waiting on another storyline or something. I don't know how they finna get ready to tie this together, but I was like, they could have ended it right there. They could have ended it right there. But yeah, and Lois just said something about somebody supposed to be buying a house or moving into a house or something like that. And Dante was like, that's good, but I don't think that's what Brooklyn was about to say. But yeah, he ends up leaving because Christina takes him to come meet up. And they was talking about it, Brooklyn and Lois, and she was like, no, I wasn't about to tell, something like that. But it seemed like she was about to tell. But they end up making up because they realized that if they continue to fight, that people gonna piece things together. And they talking about something. What Brooklyn said, she don't want to have to lie to the people she love face. You just did. You continue to. Y'all lying to each other right now. But yeah, that's how that happened with them. They end up hugging and everything. And I said she gonna be even more upset. She gonna be even more upset because you lied again. You lied through admission. And then y'all made up and you still lying. She gonna interrupt because she ain't want to tell. She just don't want to tell that she know who this girl child is and where the child is. Cody and Lulu. Why I thought, first of all, Cody was talking to Lulu and he was saying something about what's going on with you. So I'm thinking like she finna get ready to say she know that she know about the baby. I think she already said it. They already had the discussion, didn't they? But I thought she about to say she knows that it's a boy or something about the baby. She already talking about so I'm still in love with Dante. And I was like, everybody should know that at this point. But yeah, they was just talking about that. And she was asking what she should do about it, if she should tell Dante the truth. And I think he said to hold off on it. What are y'all thoughts? Do y'all think she should tell? Isaiah and Jordan. So like I said, they over here, I think he had made lunch or something like that, and they was talking about that. Then he was like, how long or how much longer do we have to, hide out that they involved? And she's still talking about, so she trying to take Sidwell down and all this other stuff, and he can't know. And I said, okay, now, obviously, Sidwell got connections, and he probably already know that Isaiah been there, first of all. He probably already know that. He probably already know where she lived. Well, now he know if he didn't know before. So obviously he could have access to the information. But at the same time, I was like, why would you, if this is where y'all keep hiding out and stuff like that, why would you bring him there? Why would you bring him there anyways? And once again, if he was able to find Sasha and come and just walk in the house like it was nothing and grab her, obviously he could do the same thing to Jordan. Obviously, while she playing this game and stuff. But yeah, might as well get Sidwell out the way too, just Sidwell and Jordan. He ended up asking her if she wanted to work for him. Did she turn him down? I think she turned him down, but she still feels like this is the opportunity to take him down. He not gonna see it coming and all this other stuff. And I was like, why do these people be thinking that if you know how dangerous and powerful these people is and how many connections and resources they got, why would you assume that first of all, you could do anything? You think you're gonna take him down? You can't even handle the local criminals. You can't handle what they call an international criminal. But yeah, didn't she go undercover before and she needed saving? Look, I don't even know at this point. But yeah, I was like, girl, you gonna need saving. Sidwell, Marco, Natalia. Okay, so Sidwell and Marco, they gave each other the eye. So I'm thinking that they trying to keep it a secret. First of all, that they father and son, even though people gonna find out regardless. But they father and son, and I'm assuming, but during Natalia's conversation with Marco, she said something about he decided to be his father's flunky or something like that. So I was like, so he worked for him. That's why he said that on yesterday's episode to to Alexis or whatever. So he must be his lawyer. Or something. But yeah, they was looking at each other, but they didn't, get together like in public. Oh, I said that. Oh my goodness. Then he come sit down with him. I said that all wrong. But y'all know what I'm trying to say. He tried to keep it on the hush hush that he knew him. But Natalia ends up coming, and that's when Silva said something about you're late. He been waiting on you. He been waiting on you or whatever, and basically look like he's Team Marco because Natalia don't accept him and stuff like that. But yeah, they end up having a conversation, and Natalia haven't learned anything. She don't know how to play along. At least play along or something. And they not even there because eventually he will figure out that you playing along. Well, it's the fact that okay, usually parents be like, you don't need to be no musician. You need to go into law school. This woman over here talking about some, yeah, you was a talented musician, but you decided to go to law school. I was like, that's backwards. That's a first. Y'all know normally they be like, you waste your time trying to be a singer or a musician or something like that. She is backwards. But then she further explained and said, that he was tricked by his father and he his flunky. So I was like, yeah, that's why he gave him that look. That's why I gave him that look. They not gonna know probably for a while. But I skipped the part. When Silva was telling Natalia that Sonny seen it or whatever, and he was meeting up with Christina. We finna get to that part next after Laura and Curtis. But yeah, and like I said, Natalia didn't learn nothing. She over here still telling me, so you could have had this, you could have had that. And he was like, how you gonna say you changed? Because she told him, I'm not the same person, I've changed or whatever. He's like, how you gonna say you changed and you just got through saying the same thing? You not accepting his choices. I said, exactly. At least play it out to my son, just give me a chance and all this other stuff. But you just showed him right in that moment. But yeah, I feel like he's gonna be a bad guy, or not necessarily a bad guy, but he's gonna be, like she said, his father's flunky. And I was like, Lucas just traded in Brad for another bad guy. He just traded in Brad for the same dude. But yeah, Lauren Curtis. So Curtis was warning her that boy out to get her. He trying to do something. I don't know if he said write an article or basically expose her for her connection to Sonny. And she still went her tail over there. I was like, at this point, give Jordan her job. I said, at this point, just she gonna go over there. Curtis, what Curtis said. So I take it you not gonna stay away from Sonny. She not, and she gonna learn the hard way too. But Lauren Curtis, he was warning her about boy. He out to get her, letting people know that she had the opportunity to have the little project or whatever in this place, but she didn't want to because of her connection to Sonny, and he just want to point out everything about her. So he had this idea that maybe they should allow the public to decide where they're gonna have it. And she's still talking about Sonny or whatever. And I was like, she got a point in a sense because this is gonna be a war because it was Sid Will's idea at first. And Laura told Curtis that. And I'm ready for them to get this over with. I'm ready to see what Sewell got planned. I'm hoping it's something major, something exciting. Sonny, Christina, Dante. And I said I gotta say this before I forget because I didn't write it down. It's about Christina. It's about Christina and Alexis. Cause Ava, if y'all seen the episode, she showed the video about Christina trying to tamper with the brace, or actually tamper with the brace and stuff like that. And after Ava left, Alexis had this look on her face, and I was like, she about to do something stupid. I said, she finna remember when she assumed that Christina was the one that got, what was his name? Agent, Jagger. Was it Jagger? Agent Jagger or whatever, and she done went toss the doggone weapon in the doggone river, and Rick and Elizabeth saw her. I said, she finna go do something stupid again. She finna keep it on the hush hush again. But yeah, I'm wondering if she's gonna go talk to Christina and tell her that Ava knows, or talk to Sonny and they come up with a plan or something, or is she gonna take this into her own hand? But yeah, Sonny, Christina, Dante. Christina ends up telling Sonny she has to tell him something. What did she tell him? I think she said she invited Dante because he needs to know about his heart condition. Dante ends up coming up. He came there, and that's when they told him about it, and he was just like, okay, it's a good thing that he finna have surgery. He said he having surgery in a month. In a month? You already done went this long. How long it's been since they originally told him he was having heart problems? Was it last year or the beginning of this year? I'm like, okay, he just go. I ain't gonna say it like that. I was about to say he just go drop dead at this point. I said some random crazy stuff, ain't it? But no. He talking about a month. I thought he was like in a week. Did he say a month or a week? I want to say he said a month. But yeah, he was discussing the fact that he think Ava gonna let everybody know, and his enemies gonna try to get him stuff like that. I said, your enemies already been trying to take you out of there, so you might as well just go and have the surgery. As fast as y'all recover, folks getting shot and falling out of buildings, falling out of buildings and stuff, and up walking around like it's nothing. So you could just have that surgery and be back on it. For real. But yeah, and I just thought about something else, y'all. When Sonny was telling Dante and Christina he was having the surgery in California, I want to say a month from now or whatever. And I thought about something because it was in California where he went to see the specialist, and that dude had was following what's her name, Natalia. I thought they was following Sonny, and the dude ends up saying that they had to get a pacemaker or something. He ends up telling Sidwell about Sonny, I think, if I'm not mistaken. Y'all correct me if I'm wrong. Didn't he tell him? So I was like, if he knows about Sonny's heart condition, is he about to use that to his advantage or what? Look, I'm waiting on this nurse's ball because I'm assuming that something about to go down. Usually it does go down during the nurse's ball or something like that, so we'll see. Then the last nurse's ball they had is when that stuff happened with Willow. What happened? Who was it? Who was it? Wasn't that it? What's his name? Victor? Was it Victor? I don't know. Cassadine. Didn't that happen the last time we seen the nurse's ball? I don't know, but yeah, I'm hoping they do something at the nurse's ball besides perform. Ava Alexis, she ends up telling her, you might want to talk about Christina's future. She tried to take me up out of there. She tried to murder me. And Alexis was like, what are you talking about? So she ends up telling about her coming over there, everything she said, the fact that Rick was a witness, the fact that Rick remembers seeing her there and all this stuff. She's still over here like, so that doesn't prove anything. So she shows her the video and she's still talking about some that's circumstantial evidence or something like that. It doesn't actually show her cutting it. I mean, that's true. That's true. I was just saying, I was like, but it didn't show her actually doing it. But still, that is enough to point them in the right direction. And she had motive. And she just got through threatening the lady. Just like they arrested Jason. But they ain't hold him. They ain't hold him. But yeah, she ends up saying that she want millions. But yeah, she ends up telling her she want millions. She was like, I don't have millions. I don't even have close to a million. She was like, but you basically she have access to the Cassadine, the settlement, whatever it was. And Alexis changed that tune. She went from saying, I can't do that, that's Ace money. What she said? She can't do it without them noticing or something like that. Some type of way she put it. And I was like, you changed that tone, didn't you? But Ava gave her to 9 o'clock in the morning. I thought she was going to say, I'm going to give you a week. I'm going to give you, like this girl said 2 in the morning. She said, it's 2 in the morning. I said, better go get that money from Sonny. But I think she said without them noticing that it's gone or something like that. But yeah, she said, I think at first Ava was talking about going to the cops. And then she was talking about, you know what, I might go straight to Molly. And if you don't get the money by 9 o'clock in the morning, I'm going straight to Molly. I said, you had to go to Molly. Christina just going to have to figure it out. Ain't y'all tired of saving her at this point? Then it's the fact that the last time you tried to save her, you wind yourself in trouble. It was hard to get your tail up out of trouble then. You don't sit up here through the doggone weapon in the river. I still want to know who did that. They ain't never show it, did they? They never showed who brought that weapon, did they? But yeah, I think they did. I think they said who did. I can't remember who it was, though. But yeah, Lucas, Isaiah, Marco. I think Isaiah wanted Lucas to cover his shift, and he was like, he may have plans or whatever, because he had texted Marco. Marco didn't text back because he was meeting up with his mama. But he ends up coming by the hospital. They agreed to celebrate and stuff like that. Who am I missing? Sonny and Natalia. She out here talking about something. It's good that you was enjoying your time with your kids. He was like, what was that with Sid? What he said, how do you know Sid well? I think she's supposed to tell him that they were married or something. But yeah, what are y'all thoughts on this whole Christina storyline? Like, did y'all want to see a continuation of episodes? I'd be liking that. I know sometimes they had to space certain storylines out and let it build up. But it's certain stuff that it's like, okay, y'all could have went on and continued with that the next day. But yeah, for me, with the Christina stuff, I feel like they should outmaneuver Ava. I ain't gonna say call her bluff because she got the doggone video and Christina actually did do it. She actually did do it. I said, look, she should go confess or something like that and send her tail to Shady Brook to get the help she need because, like Rick said, she gonna try to take Ava up out of there again. But yeah, that's it. That's all. Let me know y'all thoughts on this episode down below. Stay tuned for the next review. Until next time, this is how girls today be saying.